Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first of two webinars about the 2025 New American Home. In today's webinar, we're going to be focusing on the home's design and how it came to be. I want to thank you for joining us, and we hope you gain some great insight. We've got some great photos to share with you. So let's get started. My name is Rich Binsaka. I am the editorial director at ProBuilder Media. We are the official media sponsor of the New American Home program with NEHB. Dan Coletti is with me. Dan is the owner and designer at SunWest Custom Homes, the designer builder of the New American Home 2025. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Rich. Good morning.
Great to see you. So I also want to make sure that we thank our sponsors, our platinum and gold sponsors of the New American Home. They support the program and provide some great products to Dan and his team to install in the home. We've got LG for some of the laundry equipment, Signature Kitchen Suite for their major appliances, LG air conditioning for their HVAC systems and comfort systems, Western window systems, which you'll see throughout the home, very dramatic use of that product, and then Kohler, just some beautiful plumbing fixtures and fittings and accessories. So a little background on the New American Home program. So it's a long-term program. It's been going on for over 40 years. It started with a little home in Houston, Texas, and has since grown to be one of those prominent idea home or show home programs in the country. It's built annually in the host city of the International Builders Show, and it continues to push the boundaries of both design and product innovation and performance. It is a Emerald winning house from the National Green Building Program out of the Home Innovation Research Labs, and just a beautiful home. And Dan, as we'll see, has done four of them. This is his fourth New American Home. The home is produced by NHB's Leading Suppliers Council in partnership with ProBuilder and our publisher Endeavor Business Media. So these are the homes by SunWest, and Dan knows my favorite, which is this one. I guess I should say the 2025 home is my favorite. It's my second favorite. They're all beautiful homes. This was done in 2019. These are all in the same neighborhood, a neighborhood called Escaya, which is in Henderson, Nevada. And as you can see by this photo and others, it overlooks the Las Vegas Valley and the strip below. But just gorgeous work, Dan. This was last year's home. And this is this year's home. Dan, tell us a little bit about Escaya. I feel like I kind of gloss over it because I've been there so many times, but tell us a little bit about that community and what attracts you to it and kind of how it is to work in that community.
You bet, Rich. So Escaya is in the really the Las Vegas Valley, but within the Las Vegas Valley, within the city of Henderson, and so there's a mountain range on the east side of Henderson, overlooking the whole Las Vegas Valley and of course the Strip, which is what everybody is trying to focus themselves on, because people come to Vegas, and if you want to live in the foothills, you want to try to be able to see the Las Vegas Strip. So Escaya is situated in a great position to overlook the valley and be able to center itself on the Strip. Way beyond, out the back. So there are 313 lots in the community of Escaya, and they're about halfway built out currently within the community. So of that 313, there's roughly 155 lots that have been purchased, and then of those 155 purchased, there's about 80 or 85 homes completed within the community now. And yeah, Rich, on the lead up to this, those other homes, 2019, 20, 24, and this one, are all within Escaya. But notably, this particular home is now perched on the highest lot that was buildable in 2025, and currently is still sort of situated at the highest elevation. So the view, of course, is better on this one than the previous three New American Homes. Ascaya's name is kind of interesting. It means chiseled rocks because there are many retaining walls built out of rocks to be able to create the level pads for all of these custom home sites that are within Ascaya.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an overview.
Yeah, it's great. It's a remarkable community. It's really just housing. They have a community center, but it's not. It's basically a luxury home community that overlooks the valley, and it's the way that they carve the pads out of the mountain and use that
Yeah.
to build retaining walls and the tiering of those, and you keep climbing the mountain. So I don't know if there's another spot higher, but you guys keep going up. So it's pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
I do want to mention some of the coverage we've done of the Housing Pro Builder. So this was our cover story for our January, February issue this year. And then we also, in our March, April issue, we published a secondary feature, Architecture is Art, which is actually going to be the subject of the next webinar that we have coming up next month. Both stories are available on probuilder.com. If you look at our magazine archives, you can find the digital edition, but also web versions of these articles as well. The next, the other place to go is tnah.com, newamericanhome.com, and where you can find a number of things. There's a virtual walkthrough of the house that we've done. There's other videos posted during the construction process, which talk about some products and some of the challenges and things that the design and the construction brought up. And then there's whole sections of the products provided by our sponsors and just a lot of good information about the project there. So go to tnh.com to find that as well. I want to go through the project specs really quickly so we get a context of what we're talking about. The home is, like we said, in Ascaya, which is in Henderson, Nevada. The designer builder is SunWest Custom Homes, also of Las Vegas. The interior designer, and if Stephanie's listening, I want to apologize to her. The interior designer was actually Stephanie Osborne of Clothed in Majesty. She was the interior designer of the home, and you'll see her later when we have a photo of the project team. But and then the landscape architect was Vangson Consulting, which, Dan, I know you work with them a lot. They do a great job of meeting some of the water restrictions and just making beautiful landscaping in the desert. Green building consultant and rater, 2 trails out of Las Vegas and Orlando. Drew Smith and his team do an awesome job consulting with Dan and the design team and the build team to make sure that the home meets very high performance standards nationally. The lot size is a little bit over half an acre, and the home is 9,047 square feet of condition space, including an attached casita, but not including 5 bays of garage space and the outdoor space, which is extensive. It's got 4 bedrooms and 1 in the casita, and then 4.5 baths, and then 1 in the casita as well. This is the floor plan, and it's hopefully you can see that large enough. All of Dan's previous New American Homes, 2019, 2020, 2024, were single-level homes. This is a 3-level home. It's got a below-grade wine cellar, which is something we'll take a look at and is a very unique feature of this house. And then it's got an upper level as well, which has kind of a game room and then 2 secondary bedroom suites. So really a departure here. And Dan, maybe you can kind of tell us, what about this lot? What about this house inspired you to have multiple levels? Because you've typically done 1 level for the New American Home, and they've been fantastic. But this is really kind of a departure from what you've done in the past.
Yeah, it is, Rich. Part of the idea was, with the 2-level home, there's sort of twice the view you can get off the back of the property toward the city and the Las Vegas Strip beyond. So the idea was trying to get yet more rooms that could potentially have that city view. So the 2nd floor allowed us to do that. Also, Rich, some of the lots, I'm not sure if all of them previous to this one were single level restricted within the community, and that was to preserve the view for somebody maybe on streets higher than us. But this one also was not one level restricted, because across the street, the mountain goes straight up, and there are no homes above us. So we were able to do that too. But also 9,000 square feet, it's bigger than the previous New American Homes by a solid 1,000 square feet. So also we simply ran out of footprint space on the lot. Like you mentioned earlier, Rich, it's 0.54 acres, and most all of that is usable except for the setbacks, of course. But the bottom line is 9,000 square foot would not have fit on a one-story, and given us ample garage space and driveways and whatnot, and rear patio spaces that are covered. So so going to 3 stories is great. The lowest level of the home, I'm not sure, Rich, but you may want to bring that up, and you may have slides for that in a little bit, so I could kind of go into deeper detail on the lower level. But certainly the upper level has great views to the city.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at that. We will, and I think that we'll get into the design intent and the reasoning behind you've kind of mentioned the reason for the upper level, but the wine cellar below grade is definitely departure, not just for this house or the houses that you've done, but also just in Vegas. It's not a common thing, so we'll talk about that for sure. And this is kind of the view that you mentioned before. This is the view from the house, looking over the valley, the strip. You can see it faintly kind of along the horizon there. At night, it's even more spectacular because the strip is lit up, and it's just gorgeous. So, and obviously, you put some solar panels on this roof where you had plenty of surface area to do that, and I know that helped reduce the energy load considerably.
Yes.
And then we've got the front elevation, and Dan, I know we've talked about other front elevations of other homes that you've done, but and there's always seems to be some impetus for kind of the inspiration for how these come together. So talk to me about how you came up with this particular elevation and the elements that really kind of make it special and unique.
Yeah, Rich. So, first of all, within ASCIA, the architectural guidelines, they require you to have sort of a contemporary high desert, kind of theme to your home. And we've done different spins on that in the past, but of course, you can even tell in the color palette the warm earth tones that sort of blend into the mountainside. So, there was some guidelines of which we had to fall within, but then the rest, there's a lot of creative freedom. And so, mostly this home lives like a one-story, and you can tell almost by looking at it. And upstairs, there's just a very cool game room, and you can, through even this picture, see that basically all sides of our game room upstairs, or media room, has view both to the mountains, to the city, just almost panoramic. And so you can see that even here in this elevation. The upper floor is a single sloped roof, which you can tell in this image, but when you're within the space, you can feel it even a little more. And then also, one of the things I wanted is, you approach the front door, I wanted to be able to see through the home so you could really capture the view. Our skyline here in Las Vegas is always beautiful in one way or the other, and even in this picture, you can see the clouds and everything beyond. And so when you come up to the front door of this home and you can look through and basically see the same view that you're seeing here, it's a big impact when you approach the front door. So a lot of glass, Western window systems, was our partner in all of our exterior glazing throughout the house. So that's kind of a quick overview, Rich, of the exterior aesthetic.
Right, and I think it's important. You've got a lot of, obviously, the front elevation around the entry is all glass. It's so you can see through from almost any angle as you approach the house. But obviously you want to draw people to the front door, which can be a challenge if you've got this much glass. But clearly, you made it clear. I mean, you've got this walk up. The driveway leads kind of right to that walk, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Are there other elements that you use to kind of say, hey, I know this is a big glass front elevation, but this is where the front door is. This is where you go to get into the house.
Yeah, yeah, Rich. One thing that's a little difficult to see from this photo is our street elevation is almost about 4 feet below the front door elevation. So there is a rise, and you can see an intent on the right and left walls to sort of break the ability to see, and then also to the right of the front door, there's actually a small courtyard in there. And then to the left of the entry door is a tree. Oh yeah, thank you, Rich. Good shot of the courtyard. So that courtyard does feel like it has privacy, where you see the fire element and the 4 seats. And to the left of that, you're seeing the study. So you do have sort of privacy left and right. The only part that you could get a shot at is right through the front door. But this is on the end of a cul-de-sac. We're 2 lots away from the very end. And Iskaya, by and large, is a gated community, so there's not actually that many cars that kind of go up and down the street. So, you could say you have a little lack of privacy, but overall, it doesn't seem to bother anybody, and it does make for a beautiful entryway. This picture is a great view showing that.
Yeah, and you set back the entry too. I forgot about that. That it's kind of set back a little bit from the office and the dining room on the left, and so even more so, kind of drawing people to it. So okay, terrific.
Yeah.
And I want to go back. I know I just kind of blew it. I'm going to go to this one because I already moved the slide there. It's kind of the dramatic shot. But as you walk into the door into the house, this is from the foyer, but we're looking obviously kind of toward the dining room and central to this wine cellar, which is actually on 2 levels, not just one. But man, this was a wow factor for everybody who visited the house on a tour or an event or whatever. It was just kind of showstopper. Literally, people would stop at the front door as they came into the foyer and just be like, "What am I looking at here?" So tell us about that that wine cellar, the whole design of it, and how you kind of came up with it. And then, of course, people were nervous about walking across that glass floor. Although I think you or maybe Mark on your team told us, kind of the rating for that had to be a certain amount that's you couldn't bust through it if you wanted to.
No, that is true. Yeah, it's 3 inches of acrylic. For those that might want to understand the technicalities of it, they're acrylic sheets. They were 5 by 12 and 3 inches in thickness. And then another interesting fact on top of that acrylic is a 1/4 inch piece of clear tempered glass. That 1/4 inch glass is sort of, I guess you could call it sacrificial, but glass, does not scratch nearly as easily as acrylic. So in the build of this, we thought through, how does this function really well all the time, and it does. And you're right. In fact, during the New American Home, we had probably 50 people on there all at once, and of course I was standing by, and but everything was fine, and it's beautiful. The idea originated, Rich. I like the idea, and I bet we have all seen through Instagram or different media pictures of kind of walking down a circular area to a cellar or whatever. And the idea started there, but after a little while, I realized that we wanted something kind of larger and have atmosphere to it once you were down below. And so there's a lot to see in this image because to the right corner, you're right, you can walk over this on your way to the back set of doors to see out to the view. But also, a little to your left, you're seeing the 2nd story wine room, and you're seeing all the bottles displayed in an artful way against that back wall with a wood backdrop. So you can access wine on the 2nd floor here, and that's refrigerated. But to get to the other lower level, you can see further to the left of your screen the staircase. So that staircase is going up and down. And the end of that staircase, it's a glass wall that goes 2.5 floors tall. So there's actually, during the day, a lot of light that comes through the staircase. But at any rate, so you have access to the lower level through those stairs, but you also have access with a 3-story elevator. So if you're a real wine connoisseur, we estimated that the way we configured that lower level, you could store 2,000 bottles of wine, but you could easily ramp that up to 5 or 6, depending on how you were to store your wine. Elevator would help you get it up and down if you wanted to. And the idea, the intent is on the upper level, you could keep the wines that you like to drink frequently, and the lower level is bulk storage, but you still get to see down and see it all there. Yeah, Rich, it was interesting. I used to stay by the front door and watch people walk in. They would pause like they're coming to the edge of, the edge of Earth or whatever, and they would pause, they would look, and then they'd look around, and then often to sort of break the ice, I would walk over to meet them across the glass, and then you'd see them smile going, oh, okay, I can walk across this too. It was probably the funnest part of the house, watching people and how they would manage themselves as to the fear factor of do I, should I, can I, will I?
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah, that was great. And I like the fact that you've got this conditioned wine cellar on this level, so that and with a door straight to the kitchen, so that it's much more accessible, like you said, for the wines you like to drink the most, or the ones you're taking out for an event or whatever. Not having to go up and down the stairs to get another bottle or whatever. So very smart design there. And then this is just to get people to taste the lower level, the actual wine cellar, the bigger wine cellar down below with a lounge area. And then, like you said, quite an extensive cellar area for thousands of bottles. So depending on the racking system. So yeah, just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then back upstairs, from the foyer, just kind of pivoting a little bit to the right, you see the great room. And I want to talk a little bit here about a couple of things. One, as we saw with the wine cellar on this level, the wood treatment on the wall around from the dining room into the wine cellar, and then this wood treatment, and also the wood treatment on the ceiling. Talk to us a little bit about your passion for using wood and kind of what it brings to your homes, especially in contemporary homes, which seem sometimes cold and hard. And just your how you decide on these aesthetics about how to use it once you know where you're going to go with it.
Yeah. Well, Rich, my design philosophy is a little bit like wood, glass, and stone does not, can stand the test of time as far as, excuse me, as far as also longevity of different design style, right? It doesn't date itself in any way, so it's a beautiful thing to use from my perspective to warm up the house. And this picture in particular, that wood is called monkey pod. It's from Hawaii. It is a veneer, so those are sheets of veneer. There are some real wood pieces on top of the panels themselves, but yeah, this is a great demonstration of wood that will warm the house. Also in the ceiling, you're seeing a tongue and groove wood ceiling as well, adding to the warmth. And there are quite a few details that you can't quite see. So to all of our listeners, I'm going to try to fill in a few gaps. Above the TV that you see that happens to have the picture of the front of the house, that's actually a porcelain textured tile. Below there are some stone, and then above there's a light strip that actually puts some light down onto the that whole wood feature at night. So it's beautiful at night.
Right. Thank you, Dan. Perfect. And then you kind of, as you move more toward the back of the house, then you get to the kitchen, and there's a wine bar there on the right, and the column that we'll talk about in a minute. We had an interesting kind of Well, maybe just kind of tell us, what influenced the design of the kitchen, because you've got a big space here. You got a luxury home. Talk to me a little bit about how you approached this kitchen and what your intent was for the homeowners and their guests.
Yeah. Yeah. So the back wall of the kitchen is really where all the good storage is for the kitchen. And what you're seeing on the left, the two larger panels, refrigerator and freezer, and to the far right, which is a little difficult to see in the picture, but you can also see there's another refrigerator freezer on that side. The center, of course, has the cooktop and a beautiful stainless steel parts and painted hood. There is back there too a pot filler over the cooktop, and LG, makes beautiful stainless steel appliances. So when you're close to it, it takes on a really beautiful feel of stainless wood and stone. Also, Rich, which is a little difficult to see, but you can see to the right and left of the cooktop, those are recessed niches that go another 6 inches beyond the normal countertop depth, and there are slabs of the marble material that rolls over to cover those spice areas or rolls open to expose them. This picture was shot purposely to expose those additional areas beyond the back of the countertop. So
Yeah,
there's a
you're
lot
you
to
kind of
see.
you're kind of trumping the next webinar where we're going to talk about that more specifically. But yeah,
Okay.
but that's a good point. These are kind of the details that you put into your homes that just are amazing. And people, when they walk through or they're shown some of these details, like the one you just described in the backsplash here, with these kind of rolling, concealing slabs of stone that conceal those spice racks or expose them when they roll back. Just it's out of the norm, man. I mean, people don't think about that stuff, and here you are putting it in this house, and so yeah, we'll get a closer look at that on the next webinar later next month. But yeah, just I mean, it's there's also a lot of seating here, and there's the bar at the right, and there's the outdoor seating just beyond the doors there. You've got seating at I think both islands actually have seating, and then there's a little dining area, kind of the back center. Um, and obviously, so then you were thinking about a place that can easily entertain a lot of people, or just give people a lot of options to decide where they want to enjoy a meal or enjoy a conversation.
Yeah. Well, and the views out of all these locations, this shot was at night, so you can see it's sort of dark out the back, but the views are good. And the other thing that, Rich and you and I know the home so well, but to a lot of people looking at this, it can be confusing. To the right, you're seeing outdoor seating area, and the doors kind of knife between all that shelving in the column. That column is wrapped in wood, which really camouflages the concept of whether you're in or you're outside. So there's a lot in this picture. It's almost overwhelming to try to explain it all. Two islands.
Yeah.
I'm always in favor of. I think that you can never have enough countertop space in the kitchen one way or the other. The one closest to us often in real life, if you're entertaining a little bit, can actually be sort of a buffet table where you can set it up. And in fact, for many events during the New American Home, if you can remember, Rich, during the International Builder Show, we had that countertop cleaned off and full of different kinds of food items and stuff, and it was served
Yeah.
very well for entertaining.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about now. You mentioned the view. Oh, this is the reverse angle of the kitchen. So yeah, you can see
Yeah.
that island, get a little bit better glimpse of some of the appliances there. The lighting is obviously terrific. And then, like I said, there is a little bit of seating at that first island, where the sink island, if you will. And then you can see a little access to the conditioned wine room on this level. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on here, but just beautifully done.
Yeah.
And then I also we want to circle back to the view. And I think, we've talked a lot about, how you take advantage of this view. And so talk to us about kind of your placement. This is the map. This is the primary bedroom that we're looking out of onto the outdoor area and then the valley beyond. When you thought about the floor plan and the design for this home, did you start here? Did you start with, okay, what's going to have the best view? Talk to us about kind of how you conjured this and made the best view, if you will, the straight view, if you will, from the primary bedroom.
Yeah, well, the best view off this property was back left corner, and that's where we're situated here in this photo. And the view was off to the right, so not straight off the back of this property, but off the back to the right. So this is a corner door multi-slide western window. There you go. Thank you, Rich. Now you're seeing the doors closed or they're starting to close because these are also motorized. So I think these were actually in motion when this photo was taken. But yeah, view is out that direction, and so you're kind of on the left side of the bed when you're taking this shot. So the doors open on the corner out to the patio, fire feature, pool. It's a great setup for a great view either day or night.
Right. And those doors are just the way to go. I mean, you've got a view like this, you want it wide open, and it's great to have that option to do that. And those are tall, full length doors, patio doors that are just like I said, motorized, easy to work. And then this is looking into that space from the outdoor living, the pool area, looking back into it, just so people got a context. And again, another wall of really intricate, interesting wood treatments. And again, in fact, your kind of philosophy of wood and glass and stone, again, just beautiful. But even just kind of conjuring what that's going to look like. Did you and Stephanie confer on that, or was that your idea, or where did it come from?
It probably originated with Stephanie, and then there's the selection of the wood material and whether it feels refined or not. So everything is a good collaboration between all of us. The other thing, back to those doors, those are 12-foot tall sliding doors, and so the ceiling in here is at 12 as well. But yeah, and thermery is the wood products that we use throughout the house in quite a few locations.
Right. Before we go on, we're about halfway through, and I want to remind the audience, in fact, I didn't mention at the top, we do have a Q&A function, and we encourage you to ask questions. We are going to have a session at the end, a section of the webinar at the end for audience questions. So please use the Q&A and let us know if you have any questions for Dan about the house, the design, what we're talking about. We encourage you to do that. So, okay. And then this is moving just beyond, so I'm going to go back a little bit. So that door that's kind of center right by the bed, it leads to the primary bathroom and then the walk-in closet behind the shower. I didn't capture the dual vanity to the right of this, but again, just just a beautiful setting, dramatic, but also very functional. And maybe talk a little bit about how you kind of arrange the elements here.
Yeah, starting kind of from the right of screen, working our way to the left, you're seeing the tub, the freestanding Kohler tub there, and that wall was originally sheetrock, but you can see that there's glass on all three sides of it. So that wall is sort of freestanding, there. But then there are a lot of different kinds of wall coverings, wallpapers throughout the house, and this is one that got a lot of comment. It was a very soft, nice pattern, which is a little hard for the camera lens to pick up, but you can kind of see. But it was a beautiful backdrop, and there was a pretty specific intent here. There could be a home that would be sort of beyond on that end, next to us, where somebody could potentially see down and in a little bit. So those three panels of glass were obscure. So the nice thing is during the day, you get good natural light coming into this bathroom, but yet you feel like you have 100% privacy. Right. And so that's kind of cool. Also to the left, the seat, which I'm certain lots of people have seen nice seats in showers, but this one, if you look below the seat, there's actually another piece of glass so that you can kind of see through. So the seat is sort of like a freestanding element that you can see. Another noteworthy thing is these porcelain floor, large format porcelain slabs, but beneath it there is Schluter's heating system. So these are all heated floors, and makes it very warm and comfortable to your feet, and will literally warm this bathroom enough without needing to have forced heat. And of course, our winters are pretty mild here in Las Vegas, so it's not like we're trying to overcome really cold temperatures outside. So it's very nice. The other thing you're seeing is some beautiful Kohler fixtures, a handheld, some recessed niches and whatnot. And then to your left, end of screen to the left, you're seeing into the closet and different kinds of arrangements of closet materials in there. There's also an LG steamer in there that you can't see from this particular perspective, but beautiful closet beyond this area. And there are a his and hers toilet area, difficult to see in this shot, but so this bathroom, and to the right, Rich, like you said, had the two vanities. So lot to talk about just inside this bathroom.
Right, but you seem to have in past New Brick homes, and certainly in this one, the shower is kind of the centerpiece. Is
Yeah.
that I'm guessing that's both form and function. Like it's just there's two ways to get into it. It's extensive, obviously, with a lot of fixtures and different types of shower heads and ways, accessories that you have at your disposal. But it seems to be something that you make the centerpiece, and it's obvious why. I think it's just a beautiful piece of architecture.
Yeah, I love it because it does make it feel like it's one shower, but it's two. So there is sort of, a his and her side potentially where the bathtub and all of that, you can enter that direction or on this other side. And the vanities, if you could see to the right, are kind of split, one to closest to us and one furthest from us. So it really almost feels like it's one bathroom, but it can function as two, literally down the center. And I love the way they look.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's terrific. Okay, jumping to the other side of the rear elevation, we've got the junior suite. This is, if not equal, then very close to equaling the primary suite on the other side of the house, with access similar to the outdoor living. It's got the telescoping doors that open up the entire back of this room to the elements and the outdoor living pool and the view. So you've got some secondary bedrooms upstairs, which we'll look at in a minute. But what's your intent for this room? Why have a junior suite in this house? Who do you envision, staying there? I'm just curious, kind of the design intent for having this suite at all.
Yeah. Well, again, the views are everything, and it seemed appropriate for this other bedroom to nearly capture the same view. This is a nice angle in a way because you're not looking toward the strip and the valley, but you're actually looking to the mountains and over the pool in your own backyard. But yeah, this was a stellar room as well. When you live in Las Vegas, everybody comes to visit you, and everybody is fascinated by the casinos, the strip, and all of the beauty at night is amazing when you're up here in the mountains looking out toward it. So it seemed fitting, to be able to have another junior suite that has the same nice view. It is a smaller room. It's kind of hard to tell because these doors are all the way open. It's a little bit smaller than the primary, but gosh, beautiful view again. And I often told people if you have a secondary bedroom or a guest room this nice, I don't think people will ever leave you. You're going to have to figure out a way to get them to you're going to have to figure out how to get them to go home at some point.
Right.
But
Yeah. Well, then you're setting the others up a little bit here. So yeah, no, yeah, when we were doing the tour guide training and shooting the house for the magazine and for other purposes, it was just like, yeah, we could stay here. Yeah, let's just move
yeah,
in. This is great.
yeah.
So this
In
kind
fact,
of encapsulates all what we've looked at. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Dan.
you were there
Go
so
ahead.
often, Rich. I was thinking of charging you rent after a certain amount of time
Well, it's legit. You could have done that for sure. Absolutely.
there.
This kind of encapsulates all that we've talked about. The back of the house, the rear elevation from a drone shot. But really, you see that junior suite on the left, and then you come across to the great room and common areas, the kitchen, and then to the far right, the primary bedroom. And then above that, you see the game room and the secondary bedrooms. Again, with a great large, generous balcony that goes over the top of the primary bedroom, um, and just really, spectacular real elevation that just takes so much advantage of its lot and its views and the light. Just really gorgeous. And again, this is oriented, I believe, looking mostly south. Am I right about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly
So
south.
right. Yeah.
To the west too. So we do have deep overhangs to protect us from the sun, but it is it's southwesterly, back facing. Yes.
Yeah. And then you've got these multiple outdoor living seating areas. Obviously people like to spend time outside. It's a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful, for the most part, the weather's mostly temperate. Certainly at night, it gets to be very nice. And then a pool. I don't know if people are aware. We talked about this last year. Is that there is a restriction in Las Vegas now for how much water you can use as a landscape feature, including a pool. I mean, is that still in place? And is it still? I think you said it was 600 square feet. Is
Yeah.
that still in place? And how's that affected your desire in terms of design inspiration of things you can and can't do that you normally would?
Yeah, it has become more difficult to work with the 600 square foot, and yes, it is still a rule that we have to abide by. Um, it's funny, you become clever at trying to do the best you can with what you have, and one such thing is here, the jacuzzi is flush to the pool, so to your viewers, to all our viewers, you do not see sort of a jacuzzi here, but in essence it is there. If you look closely, the closest point to us, there is a jacuzzi bond beam that's going around, and when the pump comes on, the pool level drops just like a half an inch, and then the jacuzzi becomes obvious where it's at.
Right.
So the idea there was to make the pool look bigger than it really is because it includes the surface area of the jacuzzi as well. Another good noteworthy thing in this picture, Rich, to look at is to the left of the pool, that area is sunken down, and that was very deliberate so that the junior suite view off the back is not impeded by the furniture arrangement. So you can look straight out and over that seating area, and beautiful fire pits or fire features across the back of the house too. This is a good display of everything in the backyard.
Yeah. Really great stuff. Okay, we're going to jump upstairs just for a second, because I wanted people to see the game room, and again, that balcony off the back of it and to the view, and just tell us a little bit about this. I mean, obviously, you had the ability to go up and provide some more living space and some secondary bedrooms, which allowed you, I'm thinking, to do the junior suite the way you did it. Otherwise, that might have been a secondary bedroom or something downstairs if you didn't have that you weren't afforded that kind of leeway. But these are bedroom suites. These are dedicated suites. They have their own bathrooms. The one closest to the back, the one to the back, which you can't see, is to the left here at a screen. But it does have a nice view as well and access out to the balcony. So, but what? Just again, it's Vegas, game room, big screen TV. everything from bunko night to a Super Bowl party, right?
Yeah. Yeah, to the left, you can just barely capture. There was a 136-inch LG uh, TV that really commands the room, and it's camera angles. You do your best, right, to get the best you can out of it, but they don't sometimes do the whole room justice. So this one is kind of a tough one to explain, but basically this whole room is looking to the left toward the large TV, and of course out to the back. Bar is sort of, to your right a little bit, and had a lot of nice appliances in it again from LG. And in the corner, the back corner, if you can see, there is a sink, and those cabinets kind of wrap right to the outdoors. So this is definitely designed to be sort of an indoor-outdoor. Our weather here in Las Vegas for about 6 months out of the year is so beautiful. You can have these large door openings of expanse, and we don't have mosquitoes or hardly any flying insects whatsoever. So these indoor-outdoor spaces get utilized quite a bit because our environment is so perfect for it.
Yeah.
And then you're right, Rich, to the left of this, there are 2 bedrooms. There's a hallway furthest. You can almost see the light maybe coming through a little bit on the back of that single arm chair. And then closest to us, if you were to go left, you would also be able to go to that room. Of course, one of these bedrooms does have a great view. The other one to the city, the front one has a view to the mountains, behind us.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's definitely got that view for sure. Great space. Okay, I want to acknowledge the program team, or the project team here. Again, this program is led by the Leading Suppliers Council, HB, and has a significant influence on the design of the home and this location. Obviously, a big responsibility. Ted Mahoney, who you see in the red tie there, was the chairman of the New American Home Task Force for 2025. He's the president of Windjammer Construction in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Sitting next to him, to his right, is Stephanie Osborne of Clothed in Majesty, the interior designer. Obviously, you see Dan to Ted's left, and then members of his staff kind of around the back. And then Tucker Bernard is there, kind of front left, in the gray suit and white shirt. He's the leader of the Leading Suppliers Council, and then Jamal Gibbons, who's the gentleman far back in the gray suit and black shirt, is his partner in that Leading Suppliers Council. So again, great leadership there, and Dan, your team was just fantastic throughout the process. We ask a lot of you and them, and I know you do too, but just delivered a beautiful house, was ready for photography, was ready for the tours. So again, thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome, Rich. That I love that picture. It's nice to see the whole team that takes a team. A lot of good, talented individuals. There were a lot of nice people that helped us get here, and Tucker and Jamal, they really helped make this whole thing possible, and as well, a couple of quick other things. You can see me in the black suit there, but to the right of me, in the red and black, is Mark Schlachter, who was the project superintendent. To the left of me was Stephanie, and behind that is Tim and Christine, all SunWest people, and so I wanted to make note of those team players too. Thank you, Rich, for that.
Absolutely. Sure. No, it was a fun picture to take. That was our first day, and it was great.
Yeah. Okay,
we've got some time for some Q&A. I have some other business that we need to conduct just after the Q&A, but we have a question. Mike is asking, he toured Ascaya when it was in its infancy, but couldn't remember kind of what year was that. I know the 2019 house was fairly new, but there were homes up in Iskaya in 2019. Do you know when it really kind of opened for construction and when the first homes were really built there?
Yeah, Rich. In 2012, Skya has an interesting history that I'd like to share just briefly because everybody felt the downturn in 2007, 8, 9, 10, and it kept going into 2012. And Skya is fascinating to me because they had developed these 313 lots, all beautiful, streets, curbs, gutters, landscaping, just ready to go. In fact, Rich, in 2004 and 5, Sky was the largest excavation project in the United States at the time.
I
So
believe
I
it.
find that Yeah, I find that fascinating. They develop all these lots and everything, and then 2008 comes along, and the market is bad. So the developer luckily had the staying power to just close the doors, so to speak, and they put a chain link fence across the entry, and stayed closed from 2008 to 2012. So 2012, they opened up, started releasing lots. I was in right away because I loved the properties. I knew that it would take off again if the market was good, and it did. And so, 2012 is sort of when lots started selling again in Iskaya. And even at the beginning, the market wasn't super strong. It took a little while. But, when you think about long span from 2012, the first lot sold, to 2019, our new American home, it's probable that Mike saw the community either 2019 or 2020, because in 2020 there might have only been 15 homes completed within the whole community still in 2020. But gosh, since then to now, like I said earlier, there are now, I believe, 85 residences, homes that people are living in currently. And there are many homes under construction right now, I would guess 20 to 25. So Sky is going to see its way to, 150 homes completed probably within the next year or two.
Right. Wow. Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. I didn't know that history either, and it's great to get an update on kind of where they are in their build out. So awesome. Um, Question two, another question, um, is do you what do you get the question is, I'm just going to summarize. Where do you get your inspiration for housing design? What does it depend on? Whether it's, I mean, obviously you said the sky's got some design conditions, but regardless of where you build, how do you kind of where do you get your inspiration to design a home?
Yeah. Yeah, Rich, this is the New American Home Project as a whole. I mean, ultimately, it is our ability to show our architectural capability as well as our constructability of what we've just designed, because we are a design build firm. And I know we have to sell the home at the end of the day. So, of course, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, what's good for resale? So you kind of have to check all the boxes. We should have probably 5 bedrooms. We should at least have 4.5 to 5.5 bathrooms. So you have to kind of get through all that. But this lot, really spoke to me because the view, when I got up on it, I'm like, okay, this is the best lot I've had to work off of in all of the New American Home projects, as well as within the community. So, the lot had a lot to do with me thinking through where and how we're going to capture all the view, and that's where we kind of switched to a 2-story versus a 1-story, and so on and so forth. But, the mountainsides are beautiful. The colorization I knew should be blending with the mountains, so we look like we were a part of the mountain. And then I often like how projects take on a life of their own. You start sketching things, you start drawing things, and then it just starts to materialize and get better and better as you go on. So that's a good way to answer your question, Rich.
That's great. Yeah, perfect, Dan. Thank you. This webinar has been recorded and will be posted to probuilder.com/webinars in the next few days. Please look for that, and you can share it with colleagues. You can share it on social media. If you are registered, you should be able to get in without re-registering. But if you're new to it, you will have to give us a little bit of information. But we thank you for registering for this webinar, which gives you access to the recording. Again, I want to thank our New American Home 2025 Platinum and Gold sponsors, um, LG Signature Kitchen Suite, LG Air Conditioning Technologies, Western Window Systems, and Kohler. Just again, great support and also just beautiful, great, well-performing products that just make this house what it is. Okay, that's it for the webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you found it valuable and insightful. Dan, as always, a pleasure to talk to you and to talk about your work and the work that you and your team do on this house and others. And I just hope you have safe travels back. And again, thanks for your time.
Thank you too, Rich. Very nice.